Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a one-layer card for you guys, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of heat embossing. I'm going to be doing a little bit of blending with some Distress Oxide ink and one of the little ink blenders. I'm going to be using Salty Ocean for this card. I'm going to be using this rubber stamp set, well, a stamp from this set, and this is the Inka Dinka Doo Clings stamps. This is the Create background, and I'm going to be using one of the stamps from here, and this is the Countryside Silhouettes Cling set. I'm going to be using this stamp from that set. I'm also going to be using some acrylic stamp blocks. I'm going to be using my Tim Holtz Tonic Stamp Press. I am going to be using some Versafine Onxy Black ink. I'm going to be using some Versamark ink. I'm going to be using some gold embossing powder from Ranger. Of course, my little powder tool, and I'm going to be using some Strathmore Bristol vellum surface cardstock, and this is a heavyweight cardstock since it will be a one layer card, and I will be doing some heat embossing on there. I want the card as sturdy as possible, and I don't want the ink to show through at all. So let's go ahead. Oh, another stamp set I'm going to be using a sentiment from this Hero Arts stamp set, and I'm going to be doing some sympathy cards today. I will show you one, however I will be making several cards. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I'm actually going to use some masking tape. And please excuse my dried up hands. I have no lotion on. Anyways, I am going to mask off the top portion of my card. I'm just trying to get it as straight as possible. And I'm using just regular masking tape for this. I'm also going to go a little bit further above because I don't want to get any ink on the back of the card. Then I'm going to take a piece of tape and go down this side of the card like that. Just trying to get it as straight as I can. So then I'm going to go in with my Distress Oxide ink, and this is Salty Ocean, and I'm just gonna start off of the side of and I want a pretty good straight edge, but I'm gonna take some of the ink off. I want it to be a little bit more vibrant in this top corner, but I want it to fade out everywhere else. Since I'm going to be stamping with some solid stamps, I just basically want this really pretty pop of color in the corner of the card, and I want it to fade out as it goes down the card, almost kind of like a sky here. That's what I'm going for. And this is going to be a sympathy card, and I'm making a few of these, but I'll share this one with you guys. They're all going to be the same. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit more color right here. We'll let that fade out. Okay, so I do believe I've got my color laid down there. Okay, so I mounted my card on my stamp press, and I'm going to take this stamp right here, and this is a solid stamp, but you see the outline of this stamp. If you get ink on the outline, you have to be careful with stamping it, because sometimes the outline will be impressed on your project, and that's what I'm going to try to avoid. So I want this stamp to come off of the white edge on this card. So I want to put it about right there. I'm just going to place it where I want it. And I'm going to close my stamp press down. And I'm going to use this ink, Versafine Black Onyx ink, to ink the stamp up. I'm going to ink it up while trying not to get much ink on the edges around the stamped impression. So I'm just going to barely tap it, mainly in the center of the stamp. I'm trying, as you can see, I'm messing up, but I'm trying not to get too much of this ink. This is a super dark ink. I'm trying to get not to get too much of it around on the sides, because it can mess your whole project up. Trust me, I've done this a couple of times, so I know. So I'm going to just easily close my door, and I'm going to press only where the image is. I'm going to open it up. I know I don't have a really good impression, but that's the good thing about using the stamp press. So I'm going to do this a few times. And I'm not going to press too hard around the areas that there is not a stamped impression. So as you can see, the more times I do this, the darker my images get. Okay, so this is what we have now. We have our black image, our silhouette. And I want to next go ahead and stamp my sentiment. And I am using the With Sympathy sentiment. And I'm going to use the same Versafine ink. And I am just going to use an acrylic block and just ink that stamp up really good. I'm going to try to be careful not to mess my project up. And I want to start right in this area here and just make a really good stamped impression. So just like that. And I wanted to go ahead and stamp my sentiment because I want to add some more of this background stamp, but I want to do it in gold, so I want to heat emboss. So I'm going to use this powder tool, and I'm just going to powder this whole thing up. And this is to try to help keep some of that embossing powder from sticking to areas I don't want it to stick to. So I've gotten that done, and I'm taking my Versamark ink, and I'm going to take that same stamp, but I'm putting it on a clear acrylic block this time. And I am going to ink that up by patting the top of the stamp. I really just want that ink to just be on the part of the stamp that I want the impression. So I got that, and I'm just going to wipe around the edge of this stamp just to try to keep that Versamark ink from transferring to my project. I don't want that. So next, I'm going to go right off the edge here, and I'm going to do another impression kind of overlapping the black. And I'm just going to try to make one good impression without rocking my stamp too much. I'm going to bring in just a scrap piece of paper and my gold embossing. And I am going to just pour that on and tap off the excess. Now, it did get on some of the area that I did not want it to right here. So I'm just going to use this little, it's one of the makeup brushes that I ordered to blend ink. And it works well for this as well. So now I'm just going to put this excess powder back into my little jar. Move that to the side. And then I'm going to use my heating tool and I'm going to heat that up. So this is pretty much the image, the card basically. Now it did warp a little bit. I did try to preheat my heating tool a little bit. Now I could add some gold sequin, but being that this is a sympathy card, I don't want to put too much bling on it. I think it is perfect like this, a top folding card. I am just going to dust off, dust off some of that powdery. And then I am going to go ahead and score this. Let's see. I'm going to put it down. Try to score it as evenly as possible. And this is pretty much the card. Just a really simple card to do, but this is a great way to use those large kind of like background stamps. I've had this stamp set in my stash for a long time and I really haven't used it much, and I pulled it out because I wanted to, you know, play around with it and try some new things with it. But yeah, I think this is a really pretty simple but elegant card to make. Anyway guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please click the link below to subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.